There is startling new information tonight in this case.
Investigative reporter Mark Horner is live in Northeast Albuquerque with tonight's exclusive top story. Mark.
Well, Tom, Girly Hossenkofft has not been seen since she left her job back on September 9th, 1999 from the Bank of America, which is located across the street behind me. Now, take a look at this. It's a police report which was filed today in the Hossencofft case. A member of suspect Bill Miller's defense team, according to this report, does know where the body is located, but is holding out on telling anyone. Bill Miller is charged with 5 counts of evidence tampering in the Hossencofft case. His attorney is Ray Tuig, but it's Tuig's investigator, Maurice Moya, who allegedly made a sensational revelation to a witness in the case.
And I was shocked. I mean, I was shocked. Any conversation after that, I just said, look, you know, I don't want to deal with this.
The witness is Bill Miller's psychic, Cynthia Hess. Hess says Moya contacted her 3 weeks ago and stated that he knows where Girly is buried.
That he knew where the murder scene or the crime scene was, and also that he knew where Girly Hossenkofft was buried. But they were not going to say anything to anybody for 3 years.
In 3 years, the statute of limitations expires on Miller's charges. Moya and attorney Tuig did not return our calls today. As for the importance of finding any murder victim's body, experts say it cannot be overstated.
The trauma goes on and on and on. It's a trauma of not having a gravesite to go to mourn at. It's a trauma of never knowing where your loved one is resting.
Okay, so what if, in fact, Mr. Moya may know where the body is located? If that's true, he still may be protected under attorney-client privilege. If he learns about it elsewhere from the result of his own investigation, well, then that could be a different can of worms, so to speak, but it's unclear right now at this moment whether or not he would be in any legal or ethical trouble. What's next? Well, I can tell you this. Mr. Moya is going to be on Thursday at the DA's office giving a statement to investigators on this new development in the Hossencofft case. Reporting live, Mark Horner, Eyewitness News 4.
Some bizarre details on the Girly Hossenkofft murder. Now, an investigator working on behalf of one of the men implicated in the crime allegedly claims to know where her body is located. But he's not about to tell anyone where that place is. Shelton Dotson is live at District Court with the details. Shelton?
Carla, Eyewitness News 4 has obtained this supplemental police report. It's in reference to Bill Miller. He is the last person to still go to trial in this case. Inside, there are statements allegedly made by an investigator working on Bill Miller's behalf, claiming to know where Girly Chu is buried. With Linda Henning and Diazan Hossencofft already in prison convicted with Girly Chu's murder, this man, Bill Miller, is the only one left to go to trial. Police are charging Miller with 5 counts of evidence tampering. Cynthia Hess is Miller's psychic. She says this man, Maurice Moya, who's an investigator working for Miller's attorney, visited her and made this incredible claim.
He knew where the murder scene or the crime scene was, and also that he knew where Girly Hossenkofft was buried.
A supplemental police report further states Moya told Hess they, the police, don't even know how to do their job. We found the crime scene and we know where the body's buried. Moya allegedly told Hess he was not going to reveal the site for another 3 years. That's when the statute of limitations on Miller's charges would run out. Hess says she then asked Moya if he felt spiritually or morally obligated to Girly's family to tell authorities where her body could be found.
All he would do was go off about the police, and I was shocked. I mean, I was shocked. Any conversation after that, I just said, look, you know, I don't want to deal with this.
Maurice Moya did return our phone call, but only to refer all questions to his boss, Miller's attorney, Ray Tuig. Ray Tuig did not return our phone calls. Now, legal opinions in this matter vary greatly, but one lawyer I spoke with tonight says it appears that Moya is working as an agent of the attorney, and therefore the attorney-client privilege is still in order. In other words, in this lawyer's opinion, Maurice Moya is under no legal obligation to tell police where this body can be found. Live in downtown Albuquerque, Shelton Dotson, Eyewitness News 4.
2 days before convicted murderer Linda Henning is sentenced, a well-known Albuquerque psychic takes the stand. She says a private investigator told her where Girly Hossenkofft was murdered and buried. Mark Horner is live downtown now with the story. Mark?
Cindy, yes indeed, a very unusual scene in court today where prosecutors and attorneys for Henning all but seem to team up with hopes of placing more blame for this murder on a second defendant. Maurice Moya is the man at the center of the latest twist in the Hossencofft murder case. Moya is a private investigator for the attorney who represents defendant Bill Miller. Now enter Miller's psychic, Cynthia Hess. Hess says Miller and Moya wanted to know if police had contacted her. She says Moya bragged during a phone call that he knew the answers to the biggest questions in this case.
He said to me that he talked about that, he had more information and that he knew where the crime scene or the murder scene was and that he knew where the body was. And he said it that straight.
But Mr. Moya says it's all simply not true. He says he's only shared a professional hunch based on his own investigations.
I told her that we had reason, grounds to believe that we knew where the murder scene was. Yes, I did.
I believe this lady that she says that hey, he told me where the body was. And I think Miller knows where the body is. And if Miller knows where the body is, I bet you Maurice knows where the body is.
Now, I want to make it perfectly clear that Mr. Miller is not charged with murder in this case. Quite to the contrary, he faces far lesser charges, 5 counts of evidence tampering, including, once arrested, he was allegedly seen by police hurriedly eating Cynthia Hess's business card. Now, Maurice Moya has been a private investigator for 14 years. Prior to that, he spent 22 years with the Albuquerque Police Department. Reporting live downtown, Mark Horner, Eyewitness News 4. Thank you.
Convicted killer Linda Henning will face sentencing this Friday, but she was in court this afternoon for a hearing on new information that might affect how much time she spends in prison for the bizarre murder of Girly Hossenkofft, whose body has never been found. News 13's Tim Iastis is live at District Court. Tim?
Well, Dick, today's proceedings surrounded revelations that someone may know where the body is. That someone is Bill Miller, the man accused of conspiring with Linda Henning and Hossencofft, the 2 people actually convicted of killing Girly. A local psychic, Cynthia Hess, took the stand today, saying she was told the whereabouts of Girly Chu's remains are known. That information, she says, came from private investigator Maurice Moya, a man hired by Bill Miller's defense team. Now, Miller is charged with tampering with evidence in this case, not with Girly's murder. Girly's husband, Diazin, and Linda Henning have been convicted for that, but only Diazin has been sentenced. Now, if that private investigator does know of the whereabouts of Girly's remains, attorneys from every side in this case want to know about it.
I never told her anything about the body.
And you don't know where the body is?
No, sir.
Did you tell her you knew where the murder or crime scene was?
I told her that we had reason, grounds to believe that we knew where the murder scene was. Yes, I did.
Now, Henning's attorneys, of course, want to know exactly what information that private investigator has. If Bill Miller does know the whereabouts of Girly Hossenkofft's remains, it could show he played more of a role in her disappearance and her murder than he stands accused of. Henning's attorney is hoping that results in a much lower sentence for her. Dick, back to you.
Any idea how they're going to force that information out of them?
I'm sorry?
How are they going to force that information out of them?
Well, out of who? Out of Bill Miller or out of the private investigator?
Whoever's got it, yeah.
Well, they tried to do that on the stand today, but quite frankly, they said that the psychic, Cynthia Hess, was not a credible witness. They basically, in court, described her as a whack job. So
Right.
that's how this case has been going, Dick.
That's a pretty graphic description.
Yep.
Thank you, Tim. Bill Miller has not yet gone on trial for his role in this case. Sentencing for Henning is still set for 9 o'clock Friday morning in the courtroom of Judge John Brennan.